Marci Duncan here, and I have been thinking about sharing a process with you that I have gone through, and I think now is the time to do it. I just feel pressed to, so I'm going to do it. Back in 2020, when the world was locked down and we were in the midst of a huge political unrest with the murder of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, just to name a few, something happened to me. And it was something from the inside, right? Something from the inside changed in me. Something from the inside was ignited, and I didn't quite understand what was happening. I started feeling all kinds of things, but the dominant thing that I started to feel, which was very noticeable for me, is I was angry. I was just angry. And yes, I knew that these events were atrocious and they were angering, but it did seem like it was a little bit deeper than that. And of course, I had so much time to think while I was at home during lockdown with my family. And I really started to spiral emotionally. And I didn't really communicate that to anybody. It was just something that was happening on the inside of me. And so what I decided to do was to reconnect with my therapist. And I did that because I needed to understand what was happening to me, and I needed to understand what did it mean for the future, for the rest of my life. Because this did feel a little monumental. So I connected with my therapist, and the first question she asked me in our first meeting was, how do you know that you are not the descendant of an African queen? How do you know that your lineage isn't royal? And if it were so that your lineage is royal and your descendants, your heritage is that of royalty, and you descended from an African queen, would you treat yourself the way you are? Would you allow certain things to go on in your life? Would you allow your boundaries to continuously be ignored for lack of setting them up in your life? What would change if you knew that you were a descendant of a queen? And friends, that started something. At that time, I didn't know it was a journey. I didn't know why it struck me so, but I instantly gravitated to that thought. And it really resonated with me wholeheartedly. And I started to think, as we summed up the session, and I'm walking out of the therapist office, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, this changes everything. This changes everything. Like, what is my life? What is my life? I was thinking so many different things. And because of this therapy session, and because of that question, and because of what it did on the inside of me, it sparked my journey to queendom. I didn't know that it would be this journey. I didn't know what it would be. I just knew I needed to investigate. And so now I have coined it Journey to Freedom, Journey to Queendom. And those two things are symbiotic they go in tandem with each other. And I invite you to come along with me on this process as I share how I navigated this journey, the wins, the failures, and the incredible insight that I gained from this journey. I will say that it took courage and it took a spiritual connection with God, and it absolutely took vulnerability and transparency. So, if you'd like to join me on that journey to see how this journey went, stay tuned. Keep coming back to the discussion. Keep coming back to hear and listen and, come with an open mind and an open heart. And a lot of this journey is spiritually based. I do believe in God. I am a Christian. And so that is my base. That is my foundation. So, just know that I will be talking about God a lot. And then the other thing is I want to share with you, just as a spoiler alert, that the other side of this journey is absolutely glorious. It is glorious. Now, I'm not saying that it's perfect and every day is rainbows and sunshine, but the woman that I have become, the queen that I have stepped into, the role of a queen that I have stepped into, is absolutely glorious. Stay tuned. This podcast was brought to you by Artists at Play, nurturing the artist within.